Hey everybody, welcome back to another Bro Guy Tour. Now today I have my first interview from Joe Lanta, and it's with Cory Cantelupe. Now he is a 3D modeler with, well, a variety of different companies, but I first encountered his work when he was working with Hasbro. So I thought it'd be interesting to really just talk to individuals that actually make toys and see why they make toys. So let's go ahead and check it out.
Hi guys, my name is Cory Cantelupe of Cory Creations. I am a 3D sculptor for action figures doing freelance work for various companies. And I'm here at Joe Lanta to chat with you.
Right, so tell us how you got into the toy industry.
Oh goodness. I was a sophomore in college and I went to a Star Wars celebration with my girlfriend at the time, now wife. And there was the Star Wars Sculptor from Hasbro set up there with a little booth, just doing demonstrations of how to sculpt and wax. And at that point, you know, I knew like, oh my God, this could be a job and a career. And I pretty much shifted my entire focus to wanting to sculpt action figures, you know, and was able to learn the wax process of sculpting. I was able to do an internship with Hasbro, and you know, from there, after I graduated, continued to do freelance with Hasbro and work with them. And then I worked full-time with Hasbro for 9 years, working on Power Rangers Lightning Collection and G.I. Joe Classified series, as well as many other brands throughout my time there.
So what point, where were you in life when you decided that toy making or toy creating was what you wanted to do?
Well, so I had been collecting action figures, you know, Marvel Legends from the Toy Biz days, you know, was my big collection all through high school and into college. And I was headed towards comic book illustration. And then, you know, like I say, sophomore year when I saw you know, that sculpting demonstration at Celebration, you know, just everything clicked, and I knew that that was where my passion was, and that's where I wanted to spend my career.
All right, so what were some of your favorite projects you've worked on?
Oh, so being able to work on Classified series and the Lightning Collection, I was part of, you know, wave one of those, so I was with the creation, you know, from the ground floor of both of those lines. And so I really got to put a lot of myself into that and establish, you know, what was the articulation scheme going to be, you know, what was sort of the standard, you know, for the line moving forward. You know, and obviously working very closely with the designers and engineers to make sure everything was cost effective and, you know, what the vision of the designer wanted. But yeah, I really got to put a lot of my heart and soul into those lines. The Snake Eyes 00 that came with the weapon rack, you know, that was the first figure we did, and you know, I really poured a lot of my heart into that figure, so it will always hold a very special place in my heart. You know, and like I say, using that figure as the standard for the whole line, you know, when we started the line, we were able to be like, oh well, he needs all this extra articulation and all this, you know, extra stuff because he's a ninja. Right. He needs to be able to move. And then once we started, you know, developing the rest of the line, it was like, oh, but we're just going to put that articulation in every figure. It doesn't matter if it's Roadblock, who's this big guy. He should still be able to move. He should still be able to do, you know, a split and a kick because he's a toy. And that's how people want to play with it.
Right.
So yeah, those are very important to me.
Yeah, it is very important to have everything being toyetic.
Yes, absolutely.
So I forgot what I was going to ask next. So what are some of the projects you're working on now?
I don't think I can really talk about any of them because they're all confidential, but I can say that right now I'm working on a figure for Operation Monster Force, and you know, that one will be revealed, I don't know, in 9 months or so. I did work on a figure for G.I. Joe Classified series, you know, a couple months ago, and so that one will be revealed probably in 6 months. And I did one for Boss Fight Studios for their Court of the Dead line, their 6-inch line.
I'm looking forward to that line.
Yes, thank you. I got to work on the Death figure. You know, that was the first figure I did after leaving Hasbro. And you know, the Court of the Dead series is very appropriate for me.
Right.
And I loved that line, and so being able to work on the Death figure was amazing, and now this new one was really fun, but I can't be more specific than that.
Right. The one I'm looking forward the most is the it was the girl, black hair, armor. I forget what her name was.
Yeah, I don't remember any of their names. But yes, that was not the one I worked on, but she looks great.
Yeah, well, with that whole line, it looks like they could just fit almost with any like medieval fantasy line.
Yes, yeah, and that was one of the things that we even discussed. It was like, well, what scale do we kind of hit? Because across all 6-inch, 1/12 lines, the scale does change quite a bit. Black Series is a very true 1/12 scale. Like they look at the height of the actor and adjust that to be truly 1/12. Whilst Marvel Legends, and even G.I. Joe and Power Rangers, they're a little bit of a heroic 1/12. And then you have Mythic Legions, which I'm a huge fan of, that is still technically 1/12 in a 6-inch scale, but they're much bigger than all of the other lines. And so we wanted to find sort of that sweet spot to make sure that you can put Death next to Necronominus, and they look like they go together, and they will all fit together. Or you can have them hang out with Mephisto, and it will still look good. And so that was something that we had conversations about, and I think that the scale is going to work really well for a lot of fans.
Okay, so you mentioned that you really liked working on the Snake Eyes 00.
Yes.
But was there a project that you worked on that was more meaningful to you?
The Cobra Commander, the first one that we did that had the Regal variant, and it had very ornate costume design, and Lenny was the designer on that as well as the whole line, and he's an incredible designer and really understands how to infuse character and story into the designs of the figures. But that was one that he knew I loved Cobra Commander, and so he let me incorporate a little bit more of my design aesthetic. His armored boots in particular was something that I introduced because at the time I was wearing pointy-toed shoes with like metal on the top, and so things like that. And so I got to incorporate a little bit more of my design aesthetic into that figure, and I still feel like it personally captures the character of who Cobra Commander is. And then being able to even circle back to do the very classic version for the Hiss tank. I love Cobra Commander, and so being able to explore those different avenues of his character has been great.
Okay. Is there anything about the toy industry that you want fans to know that they might not understand?
Oh, so much. One of the big things is everyone that I've worked with in the toy industry, particularly on the design and sculpture side of things, they're all very passionate about action figures, and everyone wants to make the best toy and the best figure possible. But there are a lot of limitations and a lot of fights that you have to battle from beginning to the final production to be able to make really good product. And so every time that you get, particularly a mass-produced figure that is good and you're impressed with, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that had to go into that from a lot of different people and a lot of different teams. And in the instances where things come out and it's not everything you wanted, it's probably not everything that the designer wanted as well. There are things that along the way it happens, and you can't catch everything, but no one is in this, at least I say on the design and sculpture side, no one is in this industry because it's very lucrative. It's because this is what people want to do, and they're passionate and creative, and just that, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that's all that matters is the passion behind everything.
Yeah, so. Thank you.
All right. So I end every single one of my videos on this. So life is tough, everybody. Enjoy the little things.
I agree.
Figures lined up on the shelf. Jesse's breaking boxes by himself. He ain't gentle, nah, he ain't nice. Ripping open dreams just to slice the price. Hey, hey!